I believe humans are capable of everything. Things that I've seen, people getting like healed of diseases, people getting healed of like broken bones and tendons and nerves and things like that, like just through touch, or through prayer, like instantly. What the herbs actually do, the herbs don't heal you, they just facilitate your body's natural way of healing. The body responds to what you've just taken, and in that response, it heals those symptoms and it gets rid of the actual problem. So your body does all the healing. Who are you when you're alone? Who are you when your friends when your friends aren't there? When there's no one to support you, no one to tell you, well done. What is your internal voice saying? It's not actually about what you are saying. It's not about talking down on yourself. Remember, it just understands frequency. Think about the feelings that are released in your body when you say and do certain things or think certain things. It's the feeling that creates the emotion. The emotion is the frequency, because emotion is energy in motion. Energy is just frequency.
So in this week's episode of Disciples of Truth, we have Daniel Airen on of Mowgli Holistic Practices coaching. So thank you for coming on, Daniel.
No, man, it's a pleasure. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
No problem. I was going to ask how you first got into holistic practices and what first drew you to it.
Right. Honestly, what got me into holistic practices was first just growing up. My dad was always into like fitness, into training. He had the dumbbells at home, and I would always copy him, things like that. And I was always interested in like martial arts as well.
Oh, cool.
So like the Shaolin monks, those kind of things. So, and I could see there was a lot of movement to it, but there was a kind of elegance to it as well.
Yeah.
You know, there was a yin yang to it, you know? So I was always passionate about moving my body, but then always also passionate about finding that kind of balance as well. So that's what kind of got me. It had it in my mind from young. And then also one thing that I'm really grateful for from especially my dad, we didn't really go to doctors per se. We went to the traditional Chinese medicine practitioners, and you'd always take me there. I'd have my checkup. Same thing, check your wrist, this, check your tongue, check your eyes. And then he'll say, oh, you've been doing this, you've been doing that. I'm like, how did you know? Like, it was always like from a kid. And especially when I was around, I don't know how old you'd be, in like year 5. I can't remember.
Yeah, it'd be like 10, 11, wouldn't it?
Right.
Roughly.
Yeah, so about, So about 10, 11, I developed vitiligo.
All right.
Right, vitiligo on my face.
What's that then?
So vitiligo, it's an autoimmune condition.
Yeah.
Where your skin or your pigment, basically, your body it starts fighting itself.
Right.
So it's like fighting the pigment. So that's where you see people with white patches on their skin. That's what that is. Like Michael Jackson, you think of someone notable with that. So I started getting that all of a sudden. And I was someone who, I was very confident growing up, but then obviously like I'd had some instances in life where, in school specifically, where it made me, it kind of knocked my confidence, but that knocked it even more. When you look back at it, you think it's stupid. But yeah, my dad took me to the traditional Chinese doctor about that. Yeah. So then that's when I started. That's the first time I remember using herbs, like herbal remedies. Yeah. So around 10, 11 years old. So I was very, very blessed. And I remember the NHS was just useless. Yeah. Well done to NHS and that. But in terms of the allopathic route, in terms of healing and perception, your self-perception when it comes to being ill, it's dark. It's very death-focused. You have something wrong with you, you've got to deal with it. I remember, so after going to the traditional Chinese doctor, then my mum took me to the hospital. And what did they do? Gave me steroids. Steroids didn't work. And then they gave me concealer, like makeup,
Yeah.
right, to cover it up. And imagine that, how that was crushing. It was crushing to me. And that's the thing. I ended up using it from around year 7. When I got into secondary school, year 7, and then I get in, everyone's like, oh, what's that on your face? What's that on your face? And just seeing it as a surface level thing, whereas the Chinese guy would tell me the deeper things. He would tell me, look, and this is from young, where I knew that he told me like the Chinese way that you got ADHD.
Be nice. It's a superpower, mate.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he was like, your brain, it's like you got a powerful car, but the engine's always on. Yeah, so he was trying to say you gotta figure out ways to relax, because now when that's on, and then obviously with that you learn that there's different emotions tied to different organs and things like that. You learn about energetics as well. He was like, your liver, like you internally, it's very hot, and that's what's kind of caused these things. So it's really all the mind and the emotions. That's what I learned from him. And then I go to the allopathic side, and they're like, try this steroid stuff, which they would if I had a broken toe, they would have given me the same steroids, and if that don't work, just cover it up.
Yeah. So
those are the two options that I had, and it definitely impacted myself, like my sense of self. I was like, I never said this to anyone, but I used that concealer from let's say year 8, from the age of 12, 13 to the age of about 17.
Wow.
It was year 12, summer holiday. I remember we done this camping thing for the whole summer. I went and I was like, I'm about to go camping. And, I'd had so many experiences using this concealer, and I'm like, things where, a girl will come do that. Oh, you got something on your face? I'm like, no.
Bring it boxing in.
Yeah. Things like that. I remember I had one experience in secondary school. I forgot to put it on one day. And now I was in the shops near my school, and then one of my mates, I bumped into him. He's like, oh, what? That thing came back. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, that thing in your face. I'm like, oh my God. I went back home. When I look back on it, I'm like, what? Like, why did I? But it's mad. But I remember this day I was going to this camping thing. I'm like, nah, fuck this. I ain't putting that on. And I never done it again. I didn't care. It's been getting smaller. That's why I got a little white mustache. Now, but
that's uniquely you as well, isn't it?
Right.
It's owning that part of you.
Exactly.
Rather than, I see a lot of people. It's like everyone wants to be carbon copies of each other, of looking like this perfect thing. And I think like what people said with Moon's imperfective without creators in it, but that's what makes it beautiful.
Exactly.
And it's like that's how God wanted us to be.
Exactly. It's really sad that uniqueness isn't like praised as much, especially growing up. Like obviously there was nothing wrong with me, but that's not how it felt. That's not how it felt at all. And it took me all that journey to understand that I'm perfectly fine. I'm unique, And it's like you got a light on you. That is what it is, And it's just a physical representation of what you've got inside of you. Of a spiritual light. That's all that was. But I didn't understand it. It took me that whole journey to understand. But that was like my introduction into holistic wellness, and through obviously going through doing sports, getting into boxing, nutrition side of things, and that's where I was like, I need to get an edge, because it's like, for example, I'm cutting weight. I don't want to lose all my strength and my energy. I need to find other things. Training super hard. I was doing a lot of calisthenics, like higher rep calisthenics. My joints were starting to feel it. All things like this. I was like, what? How can I improve my performance, stay strong, stay sharp, and prevent injuries? And I started looking into herbs. That was kind of the entry points. And then obviously going on, then I had a bigger love for nature as well. Being in nature.
More of appreciation towards it.
Exactly. And that really, really changed everything for me. I became very fascinated. It was at a period in my life where I was very I had a lot more time.
Yeah.
So I would be out in the woods, literally just trying to get lost. I'd have my dog with me. We just go out, you know, and I'll just I'll be fascinated by all these plants. I want to know what they do.
Yeah.
You know, like, why is this here? I went very much back into this childlike state, and it was fantastic. And then I would have hours. I just spent hours studying and researching, and I was like, I want to really, really understand this. You know, that in my brain, I get very hyper focused on stuff. You know, so and then I had the opportunity. I found the school that I'm at now, Botanica School of Herbal Medicine. I just applied, and yeah, it was great. I had to sit down with the some of the lecturers there, head of year 1 and year 2, and I just had a real conversation. I just talked about my life, and got into it, man, and just keep going from there.
Yeah. Have they studied there for long, the lecturers then, who's teaching?
Oh yeah. So for them, it's like it's based in Devon.
Yeah.
They live out in Devon. I've been to the year two lecturer, like the head of year 2. I've been to her house essentially. That's cool. Like where we study. It's literally at the back of her house. She's got chickens. She's got all these herbs growing. So it is like their life, their lifestyle. You know. That is. And even head of year 1, a lovely lady. She's something she studied. That it is what they live and what they embody. It's the right kind of people you want to learn from. Yeah. You know.
So you can see what doors open. Is it like? Because is it Barbara O'Neill? I love all her stuff as well, what she's putting out. It's just, what's the most fascinating thing that you've learned to date then with the power of herbs?
You know, one thing I have realized, okay, from a education, like official education point of view, there's still gonna be a level of censoring. The most interesting thing that I've learned is that, well, who's been funding, you know, the allopathic medicine in contrast to the naturopathic medicine, right? And why things are the way it is. Like before, this was the norm. You know, the people will go to study medicine and they'd be learning about herbs.
Yeah.
You know, but what I've learned is that there is a cure for everything. You know, illness, or like, you know, what they call disease, is the body's awesome way of letting us know that it's out of sync. And we can only be out of sync because this world is out of order. Yeah. Which is the truth. You know, right now this is out of order. So the body does its best to let us know, look, this is off, you know, we need to do something. It brings your attention to it. Yeah. Right? And this is crazy. The healer, right, we're the healer. Like the spirit is the healer, you know. The body ages, right, but the cells regenerate. So even then, like, it comes into question, why do we age? It's because of everything that's out of order. In a perfect world, we wouldn't age. We would be forever youthful. Yeah. You know. So what the herbs actually do, this is one school. This is, I guess you can call it a school of thought, but this is what it actually is, you know. Yeah. And I say that because, you know, everyone has their own opinions, and everyone has their own, I guess, versions of truth. You know, you can say I'm wrong about something, but there is no truth until you decide what truth is for yourself. Yeah. Really. But what the herbs actually do, the herbs don't heal you, they just facilitate your body's natural way of healing. Yeah. Right? The body is the actual healer. So for example, you take something that helps to, okay, let's say you've got like kidney stones, right? And you take nettle leaf and that nettle leaf and dandelion leaf, okay? And then it stimulates like flow throughout the kidneys. It allows you to get rid of excess water waste, and then it dissolves the kidney stones. Yeah. You get rid of the kidney stones. The herbs didn't necessarily do that. The herbs triggered the response. So almost like you're microdosing poison in a sense. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then the body responds to what you've just taken. And in that response, it heals those symptoms and it gets rid of the actual problem.
Yeah.
So your body does all the healing. Imagine you could get your body to do that without any outside input.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's possible, but
I bet it is. Well, it's. I've seen the book that you're reading at the moment, the placebo effect, and how powerful placebo is. And I know that Jim King, their slogan's belief is nothing beats belief.
right.
Because if you believe it to be true and you practice it, it'll become true.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, like we were saying with the herbs, if they can trigger them responses to us, and it's actually our body's healing it. It also means we're not separate from it. We're not separate from nature. Whereas I know many minds now in this, because we've all been taught that we are separate from nature. It's not a part of us, but it very much is so. And that's like what Dr. Sebi was nailing on about.
Yes, exactly.
And it's where's your thoughts and feelings on, like, once I started. You start eating certain foods and you're like, oh yeah, I'm eating good foods, and then like Dr. Sebi's going, well, that's GMO, that's GMO. I'm like, oh. So how you know, we've talked off air of how much like humans have been modified over time, and so as food. How do you see it as finding the perfect diet for us? Because I know that a main problem for me, I don't want to give up my DNA. Like I know there's a lot of testing now where you can send off your DNA and they'll come back and say, oh, you're intolerant to this, you're intolerant to that. And that's all right. It's maybe for some people that want to know straight away. I'm trying to feel into put stuff in my body and take stuff out and see what's triggering me.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know, like, what were your take on it?
Yeah, like...
I know you opened up a lot of...
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, you can send blood away and do all this stuff, but it's like, who is it going to? And then you have to think about, when you go out in nature, right? The deer knows what it's supposed to be eating. You know, the bird knows what it's supposed to eat. The hedgehog, the fox, all these animals, they know their diet. They know their natural diet, and it's not a diet. It's a way of living.
Yeah.
You know, human beings are the only people who don't know what they're supposed to eat. You know, and it's crazy. You know, but my view on it is, the more that you, and this is why when people actually decide, I'm gonna change my diet, I'm gonna, really, maybe I'm gonna focus on fasting, or I'm gonna eliminate all processed foods. A lot of these people end up going down some kind of spiritual path, right? Finding God, because think about it. What you're putting inside of you, it really does make or break you. You have, for example, the water. You've got chemtrails. You've got all this processed food, and think about what it does within you. There's talks of how fluoride can crystallize the pineal gland.
Yeah.
Literally blocking your connection to God, right? So of course, when you cut away from all these things, it kind of opens you up. But definitely, first things first, what we're supposed to eat as a people, as a race, as the human race, is supposed to be everything from nature.
Yeah.
I like to refer things to the Bible, like the Garden of Eden. It was fruit, pretty much. Vegetation not so much, but fruit was the main things. There was frugivores essentially. Whether that is anecdotal or real, it doesn't really matter. And then from there, you got Dr. Sebi talking about alkalinity, right? Yes, everything that is natural from the earth is what we were given to eat, and they are alkaline or alkaline forming, like alkalizing within the body. What I go with is just everything with seed, at least. Like with fruit, everything that has seed, I eat. Dr. Sebi's modality of eating was mainly for healing.
Yeah.
And you go through, and this is what, when I was like, I've done the alkaline diet, and it is great, 100%. And then people go further, they go raw, they do all these different things. You have to experiment for yourself. You have to find out for yourself 100% what is the right diet for you, even ancestrally. You know, where are your people based? Where do your people come from? And so that even there, you know, we talk about, people say we shouldn't be vegans because the gorilla has, you know, different stomach, this, that, the third. Okay, cool. How did your people eat? You know, what did they do? Right? Because truthfully, like, evolutionarily speaking, we're not going to have the exact same genetic makeup.
Yeah.
Right. So there are going to be subtle differences. You know, some people can, the most obvious one, some people can take milk better than other people.
Yeah, can't.
Right.
Never agreed with me.
See, exactly. So, and for some people, there's no problem with it. You know, so you can't go off, oh, the whole of social media is saying milk is good for you, so I have to drink milk. You know, even though I'm shitting my guts out every night.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But yeah, you have to try what works for you. One thing that has been evolutionary consistent with us since we've been on this earth is fruit. That's like the one safe thing that I would 100% say. Then the rest from there, you can kind of just build on. You know, I'm not saying that I know I got all the answers.
No,
I don't. But yeah, we certainly just.
It's your own experiences, isn't it? Exactly. I seen a meme other day, and it showed like the farmers, and it says we'll look back over 50 years ago, and we'll look back at farming and say, how did we expect to eat healthy when we were putting poison on the food that we were about to eat?
Yeah.
And I like, once you boil it down to that just micro level, it doesn't make sense.
No,
it don't make sense.
Exactly, it's true. So it's difficult, you know. It's like, oh, okay, cool. We realize the water's been poisoning us, so let's filter our water. Cool, you've knocked that one out. All right. All the food now they've sprayed chemicals on it. Okay, now let's wash and clean that. Okay. What's this in the sky? Chemtrails. Now what am I supposed to do?
It is like, for me at the moment, what I'm starting to see is we're being hit on every front, and it's still not fucking killing us off.
Right.
So it's telling me how powerful we are, and I think in fact, I'm not gonna say what I think. I'm gonna say, what do you think's most extraordinary that you've started since your mind's been open and seen other accounts of what people can do? What's most surprised you? What people are, what they can achieve? Because I've even gone into, is it telekinesis, where they're moving stuff with her, and I'm like, and my friends are like, "You're nuts, that's not true." I'm like, it is, like, it's chi, it's just chi.
Right, exactly. It's just energy, and that's a beautiful question. And when you ask that, and where people's minds go when you even bring that up, that's a determining factor of, like, you know, where their faith is at. You know, I believe humans are capable of everything. The things that I've seen, people getting, like, healed of diseases, people getting healed of like broken bones and tendons and nerves and things like that, like just through touch, or through prayer, like instantly, you know. Things that surprise me the most, though, I guess once you get into well, no, it definitely does surprise you, like, but I would say, I'd say healing. People being able to heal people 100%. And I've seen some crazy stuff with, like, what telepathy. That's another thing. Telepathy.
My friends ring me all the time, and they'll just go, "All right, I'll be other way around. I'll just ring them and go, I've just been talking about you." Yeah, it says it always happens when I do it with you, and I'm like, connected.
Right. There's no just random coincidence. That is just being tapped in.
I says it's just to give you a notification of you're more tapped in than you think as well.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? I think we all pass by it. Well, I know I did when I was younger. Is you'll talk about someone that you haven't been round in months, or you was with one of your friends, and then they'll just bob up. So whether it's a phone call, text, or and they'll just appear in your life. I'm like, that's just giving you an indication that you're far more tapped in than you think.
Exactly. It's sad. We've been very much, like you said, we've been stripped away from nature, separated from nature. But we are a part of it, you know. once, when we die, we go into the ground.
Yeah.
We come from the ground and we go back to the ground. That's the nature. Like Mother Earth can't receive what isn't hers. That's why plastic doesn't biodegrade.
No.
She can only take what belongs to her.
Yeah.
We are from the earth. We're of the earth. So the things that we can do on this earth it's limitless. We're amazing, man.
Yeah, we are. What are you most passionate about then at the moment? Like, where do you see? Yeah, I know for anyone that you've learnt a lot of boxing, you're trying to teach the boxing school, so it's something's drawing you back to teaching the kids in it at some point here, because I
Right.
think they're the important minds to indoctrinate, not indoctrinate in a good way,
Yeah.
tell them, show them what they are capable of, like give them the keys to their own divinity, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right now I'm focused on my mission. My mission is just helping people heal through movement, through a healthier, more godlike mindset, and through the what they actually put in their body.
Yeah.
So it's like, call it a mental, physical, and a spiritual diet, and making that diet into just a way of living. And that's through the coaching, that's through mentoring, that's through the programs that I run, and that it does extend to that. That is my main thing. I do believe that at heart I'm called to be a healer.
Yeah.
On all fronts. And I don't know how like people go about with like the Reiki stuff and things like that. I don't know how, like, when they go to school for it or something. I don't know, but it's something that's a gift that God just put on me. To just be able to heal people, and it's like, this is something that He's put in my spirit to do. Not only like spiritually, but mentally and physically. On all fronts, and that's my main passion right now, and it's great to have a vision like that. And something you can just wake up and just go forward with every day. But boxing as well is a huge thing. It's something that's helped me massively. So it's something that I want to give back to your kids as well. I can never say never, but I've come in, I've done my time. I've had bouts, I've sparred, trained with champions, trained with professionals, all of that. And now I've been privileged to coach these young minds, right, and help them to see something in themselves that they didn't see. And so now I'm working with want to do more work with my amateur club. Because my coach done so much for me. That's my dad. He's been a father to me. Ever since I met him. I owe most of like where I'm at right now. I wouldn't be here if not for him.
Could see it in the smile, mate.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So shout out to Tony Cisse. He's a legend. Everyone who knows him's got nothing but great things to say about him. So things have changed with him as you grow old. Things has changed with his health. So I want to be able to help as much as I can. So that because his energy is always still there. But for the other people that he's impacted, I want to be able to be one of the ones that still make sure that his energy is poured into all these other young people. So just helping out our club, Omnibus, and that's another thing I want to do. Definitely more of helping that with young people, whether it's in the community, through the amateur club, however it is. But the picture will paint
How is the community from where you're at? Is it going strong, or does it seem like dispatched, or is it on its way up? What's because I see, like, I know up here, the Leeds City Council have cut a lot of funding, which means a lot of which is mad that there's all that funding cut, and it's stopping people from getting together. But I see on the other side of it, people are trying to build, like yourselves, are trying to build up the community. The stronger communities, it's where you build stronger people.
Absolutely.
We all learn from each other, don't we?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know what it's like in your area.
You know what? It's there's a lot of darkness.
Yeah.
That's what I say. There's a lot of darkness, but at the same time, you meet people and they're just lights, and they enjoy doing what they do. Especially, I think the community is the young people.
Yeah.
The young people make up the community. So there's quite a few things that go on in the community in terms of mentoring. Boxing seems to be one of the main things.
Yeah.
Football's always been there as well. We've got in my area, we have just like youth clubs trying to bring stuff like that back up. But it seems like the way things go with it always comes down to money.
Yeah.
People start things and either they can't afford to keep it running or their funding gets cut. There's a community session I was doing in my area, boxing at the moment is stopped.
Yeah.
Due to funding, right? We had a youth club upstairs on top of us, so it was like the kids, they'd finish, and I say kids, it was from primary school all the way up to like year 11, all the way to 16, 17, 18, right? And they'd finish and then they'd go upstairs, play some table tennis and they're fine in that building. They're fine up till 8, 9, 10 p.m. They're all right. And then even upstairs, their funding got cut, Our funding got cut, but I had to push for, and the organisation I was working with, we had to push to get funding again. So that seems to be the main thing. And that's something I'm going to have to go more into, actually talk to more people about, learn more about, because I don't know
how the mechanics.
Right, I don't know the ins and outs of it. Obviously, there has to be a business model to it.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely want to look more into it.
Because it's more as well like, it's trying to get also athletes that have made it to try and get their hand in the pocket.
Right, yeah.
Because the universe also sees that and they might think they're spending money and it's not going anywhere, but if it's helping other people, it's like, you said it before, it's like paying into the bank of the universe.
That's it.
It's there, it'll continue to flow. And it's about that stepping out of that greed of having more than everyone else. And you can still be wealthy and help other people.
Yeah.
I think it's the systems in place of when you haven't got these places to go and you're left to your own account of stuff, they know that you kind of know which way it's going to go. These kids are going to spiral out because there isn't them structures in place for them to be, like you say, be in a safe place and be able to communicate. Like, because obviously if the bad kids were completely kicking off, they're going to be out of there, aren't they? But there's got to be some kind of structure in place going forward.
Definitely. Yeah. They got what the youth need is they need someone, or rather they need to feel like that they're cared for, and that there are pathways for whatever it is that they want to do. A lot of kids that I've met, you wouldn't expect it, but it's like just from spending some time coaching them 1-to-1, it's like, I want to box. This is what I want to do with my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do before. And I know that exact feeling because that's how I felt.
Yeah.
I didn't have nothing else I was passionate about. So I've done this. Some of them, they just pick it up quickly. I had one kid tell me, he's like, I'm quitting football. I'm doing boxing. My dad's like, you're crazy, but I don't care. And it's less about the boxing. It is just about that.
Yeah.
They need to be...
It's like a discipline that comes in.
Yeah, exactly. And you leave them and they just go doing stupidness. I've seen that many times, which is why I know it's a super important thing to be around the young people constantly, like a constant example, but also just because you go out in this world, you go out into all this negativity. You need like a constant pillar,
like a cornerstone to
right?
go to.
I leave some, like, I'll go away, do my own thing, I come back, boom, oh yeah, got kicked out of school, oh yeah, I just been smoking weed, doing nothing. It's like, you realize, they're not at that stage where they've soaked up enough of the good stuff where now they're on their own, they know how to maneuver. They're still young, they're still, brains all receptive to everything.
What's your take on, like, I know in East and like in shamanism, there's like a rite of passage, and something that West we don't seem to have. There's a rite of passage. And I was speaking to someone the other day, and I says, "What do you think it is?" And they went, "Well, it's when you have children." And I'm like, "I'm speaking to you now, and you've got, I'd say, a very well-rounded head on you, and you haven't got children. So where do you think it is? Because that's where I think as a society we need strong men and leaders. I'm not saying the feminines there, and they're very well accounted, but there's so many young men and this mental health fucking propaganda fucking machine telling everyone that they're all fucked up in head. It's because they ain't got anything to, like you say, you found boxing. These people don't find anything. So where do you think it where do you think the rite of passage starts? Because it's so hard for me to even pinpoint maybe where it goes. Because there isn't like that Passover of, oh, you're a man now. You're given all these opportunities, like lustful over girls from a very young age. As soon as you get a smartphone, you can look at more women than the emperor of like like going back. You can see more, a hell of a lot more just through it. So you're desensitized to all these things, and so I think society is easily led. So I don't know. Where do you think maybe the rite of passage is, or where did it come from? You getting like a strong head on your shoulders? Because just for the listeners, I didn't even know you're only 23 as well, aren't you? So to have that mindset now, I mean, you're gonna go far. You can see it.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there is there's definitely no official rite of passage over here. But definitely, what it is responsibility. Responsibility for. And I guess in other places they would spend like weeks or months even preparing to do something, and they would risk death. If they didn't come out the other side, they would have died. And that's the reality of life. Is natural selection. Over here, the reason why many people are just almost zombified is because they've made it very easy to live an unfulfilled life.
Yeah.
It's been very easy.
Through convenience and
right.
And then just over convenience of food, not being able to,
exactly,
not having to do anything.
Yeah.
I think that's why, I don't know, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to pinpoint. People avoid doing hard things.
Right. Only because they can avoid it.
Yeah.
They've been given that opportunity to avoid doing hard stuff, when if this was like a couple hundred of years back, you would have just died.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what my mind's been looking down the road of, I want to have longevity. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to live forever, but I'd like to think the years that I am here, I get to move my body in a way that I'm looking round at. You've only got to drive down the street, and it's not being judgmental, it's being observing of how many people are on these mobility scooters or they're walking with a limp, and they're not of it. You can tell they're not of great age. And it's like, that's where my life will head if I keep on living the way that I'm living.
Right.
It's chronic inflammation, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Chronic inflammation and just a defeated mentality, or just a brain that's never been actually switched on.
Yeah.
Which is really scary. It's worrying. Like, that's how most people are, and it's like that from young now. Most people ask them what they want to do. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, the countless kids I've spoken to, it's just, I don't know. They know nothing.
That, for me, tells me school system isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Right.
Because they should have some way of, it's more fixated on the money of a salary, of what's going to be the outcome, rather than like, what's actually make me happy. Yeah. You speak to most, like, when we work at other people's houses now, and I'm like, do you actually like, well, it pays bills.
Yeah.
Like, that is the thing where and I can feel that because I was in that, like, of course. I like my job to an extent of it serves a purpose, keeps me fit. I like creating with my hands, but it's getting to the point of I want to create a more abundant life in the areas that I want to help people more and be more of service. But it's hard that they're not laying out the opportunities for people. And like, if holistic practices were in schools and say it's like teaching them more about nature, that we are a part of nature, it'd open up people's perception more to dive into them.
Yeah.
Rather than finding them on your own.
100%. That's in that sense, school is doing its job to a T, because they're not supposed to enlighten people on those things. But yeah, it's just a robot factory. Just chuck them in, boom, they come out and they get into work. If they don't, throw them out, they usually end up in jail or homeless or just doing some foolishness. That's it. You know, making more money for the government, because then you catch these lot, you put them in jail, and then boom, you know, that's how it works.
I was seeing the other day what they're doing in America. That is bringing back the death penalty for anyone who's been drug dealers. Wow. And he's like, that's a lot of people. And he went, one of the inmates went, all right, if you're doing that, AstraZeneca, all the rest of them. He went, you've like pharmaceuticals. Let's all get you up on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, no, different rules for different people, is it? It's insane.
Here at Disciples of Truth, we're proud to partner up with Charlie's Apothecary. Charlie's got some cracking products. I mean cracking. And to start off with, it'd be cordyceps, and it's the first product I actually tried at Charlie's. It's a dual extraction, and cordyceps is renowned for natural energy booster, helps fight diseases, and it's great for sex drive for those that care to wish, and you can wish. But no, on a serious note, I don't like going to the gym. If you've got low energy, I don't like the pre-workouts. This is great with a few drops of water. Swig it down, swirl it around your mouth, and off you go. And it can be aided throughout the day. And then the next product we've got is my personal favourite, is the 4 blended salts. The salts gets a really bad rap through propaganda and doctors saying that we overuse it, when it's not true at all. To get the best salts in is one of the most natural ways of getting all the essential minerals into your body flow, so I'd give it a go. And it has Salinas del Carmen salt that originates from the Canary Islands, Fuerteventura, if you really want to know. It's one of the highest grades that you can have, and then it's got another three blends to go with. And the next product we've got, it really doesn't need an introduction. It's Shilajit. You must see it everywhere. It's got 85 trace minerals. It's good for energy, mental health, and clarity. And this is sourced from the Himalayan mountains. And I've tried many different brands of Shilajit, and I'd put this at the top of the ladder. And it's really nice packaging as well. And then last but not least is the oregano. It's the triple extraction. This is good for boost immunity, gut health, lowers cholesterol, fights inflammation, it aids weight loss, and I've just personally used this. The house got, some of his family members got sick, and it kept it off, and I haven't managed to get sick through it. Same again, put in water, swirl around the mouth. Brilliant products. What you also get from these products is it's handcrafted. He puts a lot of time and effort in with his team. It's UK only at the moment until it expands more. So it's only UK only, postage and packaging. What Charlie also does is he grows his own mushrooms. So we know that they're tried, tested, and they're also for freshness. So hit the link in the bio and go check out Charlie's new website. So all his range of products is on there, and there's something for everyone. So yeah, go check it out, guys.
There's some I wanted to sway conversation another way, just because I'd watched it yesterday, and when I got into all this, I know how big AI is going to play a big card, and there's some scary facts and some good facts. And I was trying to look at the one yesterday because it's been posting AI videos, fully AI, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And I knew it when I get to that point, because there were a guy who was saying they knew where they could get it to, because they're always 5-10 years in front.
Of course.
So I thought, like, with now getting more intact with your spirit, and whether it be the more in tune you are with the divine, it'll let you know if in your gut feeling, or it'll let you know that things aren't real. Because we're going to get to a point of if we are just going off his own instinct, without his own instincts intact, we're not unable to tell apart, are we? Because the media, we know how big the media can sway people.
Oh yeah.
And when they're starting to use these tactics, we're all going to need to know what is real and what isn't.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big one. And in fact, my friend sent me a video, I think it was this morning, of someone's like face changing over like the space of maybe 30 days.
Yeah.
Having no sugar.
Oh, wow.
Right. And I was looking at it, I was like, hang on. This is AI. This is fake. And it was like, again, I read the title. It was like, my face transformation over 30 days, no sugar, no fruit, just water. And I'm like, this is AI, one. And it's like, you realize, okay, because what happens is people online, everyone's looking for something.
Yeah.
And it's like, you see something that seems to have like the right message. It literally looks perfect. And it's like, everyone is running away from their pain. If you give them a simple solution in an attractive fashion, that is it's gonna be just the pull that they need. So I'm gonna jump up. Good. It's a good video. It's encouraging people to not eat sugar.
Yeah.
It's also on the other hand making people think that fruit is the devil, fruit is the enemy, which is not, right? And it's encouraging people to drink water, right? But the same way, you see both sides of it. The same way it can be used for good, the same way it can be used for evil. And sharing whatever purpose that the creator has with it.
Yeah.
So it's a rocky one.
So how did your journey start as well with calisthenics?
Calisthenics is like I think my first conscious moment of following calisthenics and getting into calisthenics was after secondary school. I know what kind of person I am. I've always been fit, always been like on it. I've always had like a slim build.
Yeah.
Right? And then when we was doing our GCSEs and I wasn't really like working out or nothing, I remember I was at a mate's house. We all went over to this girl's house and we was like revising and stuff. And then I remember we was all looking in the mirror, like flexing in the mirror. And I was like I wasn't overweight or nothing, but all my boys, they had their tops off. It was only like two of my other mates. They had their tops off, looking in the mirror, like flexing their abs and stuff. And I was like tensing my arms. And I was like, I promise you, I was in the mirror for like 10 minutes trying to find my abs. I was squeezing.
I'm still looking now, man.
Oh man, honestly, I can't remember the first time that I had abs, but that was the first and last time I ever lost my abs.
Yeah.
And I promise you, like I was like, nah, what? I promise I wouldn't stop squeezing, thinking that it would just pop back up. But that was the first moment I realized, okay, like I built this muscle, because I remember going from like maybe like year 7, year 8, like I was gradually building. I could see the 4-pack. Then obviously back then I literally thought you had no packs and you just build it like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Like that.
Taking them off.
Do you know what I mean? So then I've gone through the process of building, and that's just because at home, like when I felt like it, I'd just do sit-ups and stuff, and it was helpful, obviously. Yeah. And then, but that point in year 11 was where I realized, you can lose it. You can lose this stuff as well. I didn't know that. It's like, it went like 2-4-6, but then it just went 6-0. It didn't go 6-4-2. Like, I was like, wow, this is crazy. So after secondary school, like the summer holiday, I said, hey, there was this like anime. It was called One Punch Man. I don't even think I ever watched it, but I just knew the guy. He became this superhero, like, super powerful. Like, he beat everyone up with one punch.
Yeah.
From doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and he would run, like, I can't remember, maybe like a 10K every day until he just became Superman. And I was like, my friend, you know what? I don't know about the running, but I'm going to do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats every single day. And we both was like, yeah, let's do it. And funny that I never really heard from him after secondary school, but I stayed with it.
Yeah,
You know, from the day we ended school, stuck with it. And I met him like results day. I was like, you been doing it? He's like, nah. But I stuck with it. And that was the beginning of it. Changed my life. I'd meet people, they'd be like, well, I didn't necessarily look like amazing. I looked good. Like, I wasn't huge, but I was strong. And people noticed that. I was like, wow, this One Punch Man guy, he was onto something. So yeah, calisthenics was with me through boxing as well. Like, at the end of my session, I'd always do pull-ups, dips. That's what my coach always taught me. I'd do 50 pull-ups, 50 dips after every session. And then, yeah, it just became an accessory to my boxing.
Wow.
So then I would do, I just kept on building, trying to see how much I could do. I was really into the endurance.
Yeah.
How many reps could I do? I remember getting up to doing 50 dips in a row. Like, and I was quite light as well. So endurance was quite fun. Just literally 100, 200, 300. I remember most push-ups I did, it became very addictive, especially during COVID. Like, I was doing these military style workouts with the burpees, the Navy SEAL burpees, the 1 pump, 2 pump, 3 pump burpees, all these exercises. And I'd be at home, it's like 6 o'clock, 7 p.m. Everyone's indoors eating. And I'm like, no, I've got to finish these burpees, you know? And I noticed that just really, really leveled up my boxing, especially in sparring. I'm by myself. No one said, Daniel, you got to finish these burpees, otherwise you got detention. I didn't have no one to check in on me except me. So it's like, I have to finish. I decided to start this, I got to finish it.
So, what were you doing? Were you writing it down, or were you just saying it to me mentally, like, today I'm going to do this, this and this?
Right. So no, I'd write it down. So it'd be like, let's say 500 push-ups, 300 pull-ups, and 300 dips or something. And I'll just tally until I'm done.
Wow.
You know, so that was it. So did that throughout not throughout my whole, but for like the latter 2-3 years of my amateur boxing career. And then after that, I went to like more weighted calisthenics, the muscle ups, the handstands, and I competed in like street lifting competitions. So that I think naturally I was quite strong, and then adding weight to my calisthenics just made things dangerous. Like, it was great. I remember I did my first London competition. I think that was maybe 2-3 years ago. That was the London. I came, I think, 3rd or 2nd place, qualified for like the nationals.
Yeah.
Then I was with these killers from all over the UK, and it was amazing. Still, I came 3rd, so that's something that's
an accomplishment.
Yeah, right. So that was amazing experience.
Make some great people out of it as well.
Absolutely,
Cool.
absolutely.
It's amazing. Like, it's definitely something I was saying to you, I'm trying to stick to one thing at a time, get my shred fast, get to the point of where I know that I'm fine-tuned. And like you have done with your boxing stuff, then start adding other stuff in, and to build that solid foundation of where you feel you're comfortable, and like move on to something else that you're interested in. Because you can't, like, what I wore like 5 years ago, like, I'm just trying to do a bit of everything, and you're not mastering anything, you're just getting jack of all trades, master of none.
Right, yeah.
And it becomes this sporadic energy, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the start, it just burns out.
Yeah.
You know, you wanna pick a discipline, right? Or at least have a movement style.
Yeah.
And you just build on that. And when you do it that way, you will find, okay, your body will feel either this movement's not for me, or it's time to try something else. Before I got more like proper into calisthenics, I was doing CrossFit.
Yeah.
But it was cool, but it wasn't for me.
No.
No, it wasn't for me, and I just knew that, so I just moved on.
Yeah, that's it. It's got to make you interested, hasn't it? It's got to be fun for you to wanting to go it, and you can see like I think anything that's fun is when as you start to see progression as you're going through it.
Yeah.
So it's giving you that dopamine hit of
Yes.
you are getting better, and it's trading off the old dopamine hits for the stuff that I used to do to like good implementations of like knowing that your longevity is going up.
Yes.
I was going to say, what kind of clients do you normally come across then at the moment? And who are you aiming your programs at?
Right, and that's a good question. For example, with like let's say a group coaching aspect, it's more age wise. I typically, to be fair, age doesn't matter too much, but it's usually people that they've come onto this journey already.
Yeah.
And it's just about giving people the tools and the guidance that they need to be able to fully become masters of their own body.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously the goal is for everyone to come in to receive the guidance and the tools they need and to go on, even be able to help other people moving forward.
Yes.
That's the main vision. So
inspiring.
Right, exactly. I wanna pour everything that I know into everyone that comes my way. But yeah, in terms of people I get, oh man, I'm so grateful. I've met so many different types of people, like all different aesthetics as well. I've had people in corporate people, like people who work in like finance, accountants, people who are not happy with their obviously they got their job, but it's like they know that the sedentary lifestyle is not for them, so they want to counterbalance it.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff brings a lot of stress as well. So they realize that, and these are people that they understand, like they study, they've learned little things here and there. It's like, okay, like I can't lose weight because like I'm stressed.
Yeah.
I know that. What do I do about it? So it's like that's where they're at.
Yeah.
When they come to me, it's like I've tried it's not working. Okay, cool. Those are like some types of people I work with. Other kinds of people, it's like I need to make a change. I need to make a change right now.
Yeah.
I don't like the way that I'm living. These are people that are terminally lazy.
Yeah.
But wired for success. So this is...
You're trying to bridge the gap.
Right, exactly. I tell everyone, look, tell me where you're at right now and where you want to go. I'll sort out the middle. That's absolutely fine. So I get people like that come and it's just about literally bridging the gap in the sense of, at first you just need to build momentum, So I like to give you the not only the tools, but give you the system. So it's like you wake up in the morning, from when you wake up to when you go to bed, you know what it is you're doing. You don't have to put the extra mental energy into thinking about what it is you have to do.
Yeah.
Right. So that you can just build the mind, flex the mind muscle, right? Build the mental strength to a point where it's like, okay, now I feel stronger. Then we can start doing different things with it as well.
Yeah.
So it's really, I get all different types of people. I get spiritual people. To be fair, I don't think and this is like who you attract as well. I don't think I've had one person come in that's not spiritual.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, you're naturally guided to it, and then you we were saying off air, you kind of gonna get taught, you're gonna get presented with some problems that you haven't come across before. Then that gives you the opportunity to. I think males are very much problem solvers. That's what we try to do. Like, that's what we're supposed to be doing. That's why I when I spoke to Chavy Hippie over there, and I says I just want to connect the dots, and he was like, no pun intended, and I'm like, that's what I like to do. I like to bring people together who go like, hopefully once you've gone away, and there might be a guest that comes on like 20 down the line, or even might even be one that's already been on, but we go, I'm putting this thing on, you and you'd work together.
Right.
Do you want to put your heads together,
Exactly.
see if something works, and
Right.
see what comes of it? Because
Yeah.
that's what
1,000,000%.
you're like building the communities off of the back of it, aren't you?
Yes.
And building them connections, and yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Right. No, exactly. Literally connecting the disciple with the truth.
Yeah,
That's fantastic. Right?
I didn't even know I'd done it. Well, I didn't, did I?
Yeah, exactly. Mad.
I think it's more that you open yourself up to it. There are another thing as well, like, I think exercise, it clears your mind. And that's what, when people are so stuck in their head, I'm like, why don't you just go for a walk or a run or whatever? And like, oh no, like what? And I'm like, my take on it now, like when the lymphatic system, like if you have stagnant water and it stays there, it goes stagnant, it goes, or it's smelling horrible. We've got food deposits and stuff. If you haven't worked out, and I think there was a study the other day, most of the West, after the age of 30, 80% never go on a run again. I'm like, so you're on this planet for all that time. So all this stagnant energy of like whatever we're eating is decaying. And when you're actually going and doing the exercise, it's like your pistons all firing and it's clearing it all out.
Yeah.
Like even the burpees this morning, I said the same to Cam yesterday, it's like they feel like they get easier after the first few are out of the way.
Yeah.
Because you've loosened, it's
Exactly.
kicked it all around.
Yeah.
And it's choose your hard, isn't it? It's choose your hard. Do you want to choose it now or do you want to choose it later? Because, the choice becomes erased and you don't get to have the choice anymore, do you?
Yeah, and that was you made that choice when you wasn't doing the things that you needed to do.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I think we had a good morning.
Yeah.
Sweating it out and then being in the magnesium, all them salts. That is super healing.
Yeah,
it's super healing. I had a really interesting experience the other day as well. I did a mobility session. Oh,
did you?
God, yeah. This is my mate. She does like yoga, mobility, all of that. She's a coach, right? So she does these online sessions, and she sent me one of hers, and it was like a deep stretch. It was like a yin session. So it was like I'm super high energy, obviously mainly in my masculine, but you need to have the balance.
Yeah.
So I did that flow. She sent me that flow, and I was like, funny, that was the second time she sent it to me, and I didn't do it the first time. Second time I was like, no, I'm doing it because I need it. I start to feel it. All the lactic acid in my body, I actually feel it, and it's like I needed to let go. So boom, I done it. And it was amazing. I done it in the woods, just literally found a little crack in the woods and just boom, sat down, put my mat down and just followed along. And it was especially opening, releasing the hips.
Yeah.
I'm not sick or nothing, but after that I had so much like mucus coming up.
Did you?
Right? It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable that mentally, emotionally, and literally physically, that there was a lot of movement.
Yeah.
So it just helped things to flow a lot more. So it just goes to show, when you're sitting down, you're not doing nothing. Imagine everything's just backed up within you. That was like mucus that, who knows how long it was there for.
Yeah.
Just from that movement. I wasn't running. That was a completely different type of movement that my body had been lacking.
Yeah.
Right. And that it just dislodged all of that stuff from within me. And it gets deep.
Yeah. It's definitely something that I know that I need to go and do more yoga. And it's taking that time. Like, I've been thinking about it recently, is that evening meal. Sometimes when like, I'm not actually hungry, I'm just eating out of pleasure. Go do your yoga in that time.
Right.
Like, trade it with, get your mind to trade what feeling good is. You're chasing the dopamine of feeling good, not the pleasure of the food.
Yes. Exactly.
And I think for me, that's why food's been dairy. I do eat out of pleasure because I like the taste. Food is tasty.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to cut it completely out, but I want to try and chase the highs of getting to my optimal, where you can, like you say, mobility. Just simple things of, I've watched a lot of accounts of how they move, and you're just like, it's really easy that, and then you try, and it's like, nah. You realise how not functional you are.
Yes, yeah. No, that's why that's gonna be a a big focus for myself moving forward. Like at least we're not trying to just become way more mobile.
Yeah.
Just the benefits, the longevity benefits, the strength benefits, all of that. It's going to be great.
Yeah, because like even when we did the shred fast this morning, when you drop the back knee and it's to bring over, when they're bringing back down, they're trying to get you to bring your elbow to close, and I'm like, I'm not even anywhere close. But I guess it's through practice, isn't it?
Literally, yeah.
So
just reinforcing the moves until the body just opens up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So what's the best advice you've ever been given? Whether it been through, it might have tried to narrow it down through boxing coaches or. I know I've put you on the spot there.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. When I say it, I go away and think, something else. But whatever.
That's like if someone says, "What's your favorite song today?" It's like of all time. It changes day to day, doesn't it?
Exactly. I have two in mind, and they're kind of similar. One is about food, the other is about frequency. But this is something my mentor taught me, right? And I said it to you earlier actually, and it's the universe and your mind, your subconscious, because you are the universe, right? Doesn't understand English, German, French, Spanish, Latin. It only understands frequency, right? It just understands frequency. And why that hits and why that's so important and why that's been life-changing is because who are you when you're alone? Who are you when your friends when your friends aren't there, when there's no one to support you, no one to tell you well done? What is your internal voice saying? It's not actually about what you are saying. It's not about talking down on yourself. Remember, it just understands frequency. Think about the feelings that are released in your body when you say and do certain things or think certain things. It's the feeling that creates the emotion. The emotion is the frequency, because emotion is energy in motion. Energy is just frequency. So you have to think about, if you think back on everything that I've been doing, right or wrong. Mm-hmm. For example, let's say for example, I was supposed to run 5K and I didn't run 5K like that day. My brain doesn't understand that, I failed. Like it doesn't know what that word failure means. It only understands the feeling that you felt after you didn't do what you said you was going to do. And it registers that feeling. Like, this is a bad feeling. A lot of people are attached to and addicted to negativity, because look at just the state of the world. You turn on this is one thing, I watched the news during COVID, for first time I ever watched the news for a week, and I turned that shit off. I turned that off because
unplug it.
Yeah, literally, I had my family always watching the news. I was like, I ain't staying in the same room, because it's just negativity. People just become wired to it. And it's like the mind and the universe always works in our favor. It's literally like, yes, boss, what do you want? How are we doing this? It's like, and you're over there like, damn, negativity. Look at all these people that's just died. Wow. Like, yeah, there's sad things going on, but we don't have to absorb ourselves with that. Because think about how many negative things are you thinking on, looking at each day compared to positive. Yeah. The universe is relaying that information. Okay, cool. He loves to be around negativity. He loves to see and hear about people dying. Okay, cool. He loves to hear about the rates of poverty. Okay, awesome. He loves to hear about people's bills ain't getting paid. All right, awesome. We'll just make sure that he gets more of that.
Yeah.
The universe is serving you. Yeah, your mind is serving you. So as soon as I realized that, you go inside and you realize, okay, what is it that I'm doing that is creating my current living situation? Right? Everything. Then you take ownership. right? And that's another reason we talked about rite of passage. Rite of passage, it literally just comes from responsibility. Some form, you got to realize you're responsible for yourself, not your mum, not the government, not the school. It's you.
Yeah.
Everything is your fault. Yeah. And that is liberating, because now you get to think of, okay, yeah, the universe only understands frequency. I may not have the things I desire yet, but I can definitely feel like it. I know how it feels to be happy. I can focus on being happy. I know how it feels to be fulfilled. I can focus on being fulfilled and have the vision of what I want. And that's what's going to come to me.
Yeah.
That's changed my life. 100%.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's having that focus it's having a focus on something that you're passionate about.
Yes.
And how you can help use that to be of service to others. And that you kind of feeding off their energy and they're feeding off yours. It becomes this, like, just as you're saying, negative, and it can be, like, you can get sucked into it. It can do the exact same on the opposite side.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's all, I think that's what's trying to emerge now through the divine. I think that is what's heading. It's like people are switching on the light bulbs and going, there's a different way to live. And it's getting more connected to his ancestors, and it's I don't think they can cover it up anymore. It's the cat's out of the bag, and it's like this is the emergence of it.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful.
They've got some good cover-ups in their backlog for sure, though. 100%. But look, once you start seeing like crazy UFOs and stuff like that, you start seeing other entities. They're gonna have all these, like, you know, about like Project Bluebeam and stuff. They're gonna have all these kind of excuses and stuff, man. They're 10 steps ahead of us. Like, they know all this stuff is gonna happen.
Well, the way that I seen it, what they were saying is, like, with the CIA and stuff, they're not working forwards, they work backwards. So they get a plan. It's like you saying, oh, do you want, like, you saying, oh, does someone want this six-pack? Right, you're getting that. What would that person do to get that? And let's work backwards. They're doing exactly the same with that script. It's like, even now, I fell for it when I went into COVID. Is like that Q. Oh, Q's helping. Q ain't helping. It's just another script.
Right.
It's another script for people to self-manifest it coming in.
Exactly.
As well.
Exactly.
I don't fully understand it, but you can see the red flags with everything. And once you're more aware to it, you're not going to fall to it.
Yeah.
Like, we had the, I know Leeds won the championship, and my son wanted to go to the parade, and I says, look, I'm not trying to live my life in fear, but we're due something to happen. And I went, God forbid something had happened, and I took him to that. I'd kick myself. And it didn't happen at Leeds, it happened at Liverpool at week, and they did the same parade, didn't they? And they that drive through. So there's ways, I think, what they're trying to do. They're trying to scare people from getting together and to build these communities. And, like, the scariest part is people, like, a lot of parents think that the kids are safer if they're indoors. I think it's more scary letting them have a smartphone. They're more connected to things that you don't understand what they're going on. I was working at a teacher's house over there, and he went, these kids have shown me how they get round when people put in, like, security stuff, and he went, they're just pissing themselves. And he says, at least, he says, when I come to have kids, I've kind of got a handle on, I know how to get round it. He went, but they're just savvy. I'm like, it's their world, isn't it? It's not like, it's not ours.
No, it's tricky, man, because you're in Leeds, but you're in China, you're in America, you know, it's wild.
What are you most looking forward to then? What's coming? Do you see a massive shift going on? I know that we'd spoke earlier, a couple of weeks back, about having a conversation with a 14-year-old, and you were just like, you were blown away with what he was speaking about.
Yeah.
So do you feel that there's a shift going on? And
yeah, there is definitely a shift going on. It's not actually the shift itself that excites me. It's the people that are tuned into it that excite me, because it's like, it's been a long time coming, and all of this is scripted. You know, the people who essentially run the world right, or believe they run the world, they've been clued in on this for ages. They know all the stuff that's happened. That's why they're basically creating contingencies, putting contingencies in place and using their so-called education to create or help to create the narrative, controlling the collective, right? Because through the news, through media, through education, that's how they indoctrinate and create this collective consciousness, because no one can control you. They know that they can't. The devil can't control you. No one can control you. But what they do is they make you believe that you have no control. Whatever they can create, help you or make you to believe, now they've controlled you. Yeah. That's why it's about the mind. It's about the mind. Yeah. Once they've got your mind, that's it. But I'm excited to meet more of the people who have free minds and the people who, because I know you got some people that are just born that way, like never ever gave into the rules or nothing. But it is like literally like the Matrix, you know. I'm like, cool, like boom, I made it out, or like, I'm still on my way, plodding along, coming out the Matrix, and it's like boom, once everything is here, and it's like there you got the mothership, I forgot what the ship was called, like Zion or something. Was that like that? Yeah. And it's like boom, you're outside the ship and you're just waiting on everyone to come through, and it's like you're just there with everyone. That's what I'm excited. I'm excited for the people I'm gonna see. Yeah. And where life goes from there. Yeah. Because that's really gonna that's the beginning. Yeah. I'm excited for the beginning of the new world, because this current world system is
collapsing.
It's coming to an end, So and every like religion, spiritual movement, these times have basically been prophesied about. There's gonna be an ending of this current world and a new world to come. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that, man.
Yeah. I think it's more getting more in harmony with the world, and the world will treat you back in the way, as above, so below, as within, so out. Exactly. It's like the 12 universal laws. That's something that I've studied a bit on. Wow, I think it's just interesting stuff. There's that many avenues that you go down, and you're like, when you got more into spirituality, what are like the common practices that you would maybe advise for the listeners to get into that really shaped your mind?
Mm-hmm. Reading for sure. You have to read, because when I got into, it's just studying in general. It's one thing to be really excited about, the spiritual journey and stuff, but excited about what? You have to now get into it, learning about everything from spiritual practices. And me personally, I don't discriminate. I've learned all different types of spiritual modalities. Yeah. And then history. History is super important as well. This whole world is it's a stage, and it's scripted. It's a whole script. You got to understand the history to know the mystery. You ain't gonna. Yeah, you got to understand the history, because then it gets into some deep stuff, like, as you would know as well. Yeah, like things that ain't mainstream. Prayer is super important as well. Prayer is super important. It's something. If even for the anatomy of prayer in itself, it's something people do like without even knowing. But if you can learn to consciously pray, that's a powerful thing. Once you learn about prayer and you start practicing prayer, you will realize that it's the same thing as manifestation. Yeah. It is the same thing, but you become good at it. You learn how to make that thing. Meditation as well. It's something everyone talks about, but yes, the more you are able to have control over your thoughts and awareness over yourself as a whole, the healthier you'll become in life, and the more you'll be able to be of service, the more you'll be a prime vessel for God or source to be able to use, because you can detach yourself from your ego. you need the ego to navigate this 3D realm,
Yeah.
but and that's how we interact. That's your sense of self. That's, how you can have like form relationships and things like that. But we need to stay connected to spirit as well.
Yeah.
But those would be the main things.
Yeah. They're your pillars, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, and you gotta eat clean as well.
Yes.
You gotta,
Well, the food becomes you, doesn't it? If you
Yes.
could try boil it down, like I was thinking about this other day when we buy products or like whatever it may be. You might buy a bike. After a few years, you need to replace it because it's took too much of a hit.
Yeah.
And you think your body's like my body's been here for 30. Well, it comes up to 37 years this year. You've been around 23, so you've overcome all that. So what you're putting in your body essentially becomes you. The better the quality of food, and the more life force it has in it, the more life it gives you.
Right, 100%. This is another probably interesting thing that my boxing coach told me. Okay, and this is like I'm just putting this out there because it's true and it's very interesting. It's like, I want to know what you take from it as well. So this was when the the Game Changers had come out. Do you remember that? Yeah. On Netflix, the Game Changers had come out, and then I remember we were done at the gym. My coach was dropping me home, and I was like, "So, coach, what do you think about this whole vegan thing and or eating like meat and stuff like that? What should I do? As a boxer?" Because I was like, yeah. And then because I was looking at the animals and, the strong ones and all that. And he told me, yeah. You see the horse, you see the elephant, you see the gorilla. These are super strong animals. These are powerful animals. And they just eat plants. They eat vegetation, So he was like, so it shows you don't actually need to eat meat to be strong, to be powerful. See the horses, look at the giraffes, the elephants, look at all these massive animals. How do they get that big without eating like meat?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, yeah. And then he went, but there's only one king of the jungle. The lion's the king of the jungle. The lion has a completely different mentality. It's not the strongest, it's not the fastest, but it is a savage. Like the lion is a protector of its family. The lion's, out of its pride, it takes down animals that are way much bigger than itself. And it is, you look at the elephant, you're like, oh, elephants are cute, even though they could crush you.
Yeah.
Right? These beautiful animals. And you look at the lion, and it's a different kind of feeling. Imagine like locking eyes with, you'd be more fearful locking eyes with a lion than you would an elephant.
Yeah.
And he was like, when you're in the ring, you got to be a lion. You have to have a killer instinct. So it's like now when you think about what you put in your body, if he was, doing something else, yeah, of course you can be, be vegan, be whatever you want. But I guarantee you, if you're not in front of this person and you're ready to kill them, I promise you they're ready to kill you. So it's like, what mentality do you want to have? But I just found that really interesting because it's like, obviously what you eat becomes you.
Yeah.
It's like, where do you want to take it?
What are you trying to apply?
Right. One way of eating might not be for everyone.
Yeah.
But you have to know within yourself, what are you looking to achieve? What do you want to become? That's when you can know whether you're eating the right thing or not.
Yeah. It's interesting, that, isn't it? It is interesting. Yeah, because you take, like, I know they say when you eat pig, they're like, you be as greedy as a pig, or like all this, and I've never thought of it that way, of what you've just put out.
Yeah.
Of you do kind of need them credentials, you need them attributes to be in that ring. Whereas they're going to have the upper hand on that side.
Yeah. It's just really, really interesting to think about.
Does it align with like where you're wanting to go and what you're doing?
Yeah.
And does it, yeah. Because, when I first went not eating meat, and I've dipped back in now and then, I was like telling everyone, no, you can't eat this, you can't eat it. And it's like, nah, it's not the way to go about it. Everyone's going to find their own way,
Right.
and they're going to find it in their own time.
Exactly.
And I think it's doing what's right for you, isn't it?
Right.
That's the thing. And do you feel happy in doing so?
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's the output in it.
Yeah.
So moving on to your courses and stuff,
Right.
what have you got coming forward?
I guess.
And what are you excited about?
Right now, okay, at the moment we've got like a 30-day program going on, and that is giving people, like I said, it's giving people the tools and the ammunition, the mentally, right, as well as physically and with their nutrition that they need to go and attack their goals. So it's just it's pretty much a whole reset and alignment course.
Yeah.
You know, so people come in, and I say course, like a course implies that, you know, you come in, you get some videos and you watch. This is more so coaching.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone gets to come together. You get, you know, obviously you're still getting coached one-to-one by me, and everything you get is for you. Like, it's made specifically for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is gonna be huge. I don't know when I'm gonna do something like this again, because obviously that I do mainly just pure one-to-one coaching, online coaching. But I just thought I'm gonna do something like this, you know, and yeah, like I'm gonna get this as the vision. I'm gonna have a group coaching call with 50 people on there.
Yeah.
So once we hit 50 in this group, then we'll take it from there. But that's what I'm working on right now. You know, it's going really well. It's fun seeing all these different people, and also being able to inject that energy into them as well. Because when someone comes to you with a desire to change, that's what like ignites my fire.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, it's exciting stuff, man.
So what are you gonna do? Like it's building like a community off it as well. They're all able to interact and ask each other questions as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we're working on. Right, that's what we're doing right now. In the future, like what else we got in the background is like an actual program, like a course that people can buy, a video course with. It's gonna have all different. It's still gonna be covering the same things: the training, the nutrition, the mindset, the spirituality, on all aspects. You know, got people that come in, they just want to do like animal based. People want to come in, they want to do plant based. People want to learn about fasting and things like that. There's gonna be content for all of those things, as well as different training modalities as well. So you're gonna be able to come in, see the library. You're gonna be able to pick out the training program you want. You're gonna be able to pick out the maybe the fasting protocol you want, the herbal protocol you want, the way of eating that you want. And there's gonna be like there's a stack of videos. I've been working on these videos. It is,
I can see you've been putting work in.
Yeah. So that's something I'm excited to bring out soon in the next few months for sure as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave the listeners with?
Yeah, I just want to say again a big thank you to yourself, man, for, you know, bringing me down here, for inviting me into your home to be with your, you know, your wife, your kids. I really appreciate it, honestly. And yeah, you're doing amazing stuff, man. And to everyone listening, man, stick here, man. Stick with it, because it's going somewhere crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting, man.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming on, bro.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.